Hello, hello. Welcome to Simply You 100 podcast. My name is Fadza and I am your host. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into this podcast whereby we encourage each other to build our own personal relationship with the Lord. So we look at various topics that things that we face as we are living in this life and encourage each other to continue to press on building our personal relationship with the Lord. So today the topic is, what kind of generation are you? As I was considering the topic for today, and I was asking God, oh, what am I really going to say in today's episode? And the word generation came through to me. That's how we have the topic for today. What kind of generation are you? So, as you're listening through to me, wherever you are, I want to ask you a question. Are you the generation that is serving the Lord? Or are you the generation that is sinning against God? Because we are living in a time where doing what is right is being frowned upon, according to doing what is right according to God, not according to the world. And sinning against God, people are just taking it so lightly. So I will ask you again, are you the generation that is serving the Lord? Or are you the generation that is sinning against God? All right. So I'll tell you a little bit of a story. So when I was a child, I would see my grandmother in her old age. When she found it so hard to kneel and pray, she would sit on top of her bed and then she would pray. She prayed for herself, but then she also prayed for each and every single one of her children. She had so many children, and she would pray for their families. And then at that time, I really did not understand, because I thought, oh, this prayer, she's praying for all these people. But now that I have grown and I understand a little bit, I can see that she was also covering me in that prayer, because she would pray for my grandmother, and I am from that lineage as well. And then later on, I will see even my own grandmother. She would serve the Lord, and then she would also pray unto the Lord, and she prayed as well for her children. And then I can see my own mother serving in the church, and she also prays. And each of these generations have been serving the Lord. Each have done their part, and each are doing their part. And now it's my turn. And now I ask myself, what kind of generation am I as well? All I know is that I want to just serve the Lord. I just want to build that personal relationship with the Lord, because that is what I have seen being done in our family. And that is what I also intend to pass on to the next generations. The scripture says in Proverbs 22, verse 6, in the King James Version, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. You might be saying, Father, I did not come from such a generation. And I will say to you, according to what Joshua said, the scripture, Joshua 24, verse 15, the King James Version, it says, and if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That's the end of the scripture. I hope that is your response as well today. The response that Joshua gave, that we will serve the Lord, because that generation starts with you. You are a generation, you are the new generation. And I hope that you serve the Lord. You serve the Lord in spirit, in truth. You worship Jehovah in spirit and in truth. You walk in his ways. You do according to what he commands you, and you train up the coming generations in the ways of the Lord. Wouldn't it be great when we are in heaven and we can see all whom we called our family here on earth also there in heaven as well, and we are all together and we are dwelling in the presence of the Most High Jehovah? Just think of it. Wouldn't that be awesome? The ones whom we called family, like our blood relatives, wouldn't that be great as well to see them in heaven together and we dwell in the presence of the Lord? But that is only possible when you and I choose to serve the Lord, when you and I choose to worship the Lord in spirit and in truth, and when you and I become that example for next generations, and we train up as well the next generations in the ways of the Lord, so that they do not depart from the ways of the Lord. The other thing I also wanted to say is, I asked in the beginning, what sort of generation are you? I want to remind you that your actions, be it negative, might affect future generations. So everything that you do, you might be saying, oh, I am me, I am the father, I'm the mother, the children, the children. But what the negative that you might say, the negative, the evil in actual fact that you might say, or the evil that you might do when no one even is watching, might actually affect the future generations. So I want you to consider very well, what kind of generation are you? Consider the generations that are coming after you. You know, when I was reading the book of Kings in the scripture, the word of the Lord, you know how God referred to King David as the man who loved him, as David, the man who loved God and who was after the heart of the Lord. Wouldn't that be so awesome if you and I would be looked upon by God, and Jehovah would say, this is my daughter, or this is my son who was after my own heart, or who is after my own heart, and we become that generation that has left something that is so awesome for the next generations, that no, these ones were after the heart of the Lord, these ones truly served the Lord. Wouldn't that be awesome? So as you're listening to me right now, let us not just consider our own lives, but let us consider the coming generations. It might not be just your child, it might be your cousins, your nephews, your nieces. Let us consider the other generations as well. What are we leaving for them? What are we letting them see? Are they seeing God in us? Will we be remembered as the generations that loved God? So I will end on this note. What kind of generation are you? Are you the generation that is serving the Lord? Or are you the generation that is sinning against God? I hope you are the generation that is serving the Lord, worshiping Him in spirit and in truth. Share with your family and friends. Until next time, it is bye for now.